Hi guys, welcome to .NET Go. Our today's topic is constant time complexity. Now, before starting this session, I'll recommend that please go and watch the previous session, which is about what is time complexity. What is constant time complexity? When time complexity is constant, notated as big O notation and then 1, the size of the input n does not matter. Okay, so here what happens is, if you see that notate symbol, right, that big O, then the first bracket, and inside that first bracket I have written 1, right. This 1 is nothing but this input n. So whatever the number it will there inside the bracket, right, it will indicate how much how much time the compiler will execute the particular operation. So as per this notation, you can clearly understand that in constant time complexity, it is not at all depending on the size of the input. It will directly execute only one time. Okay, whatever the how much input you will give, that is doesn't matter. It will directly go and execute that particular operation only for one time. Okay, then algorithms with constant time complexity take a constant amount of time to run independently of the size of n. Exactly what I was talked about. So they don't change their runtime in response to the input data, which makes them the fastest algorithms out there. So there are couple of more time complexities are available. So we will discuss about each and every time complexity in our later session briefly. But for now, you can remember this constant time complexity is the fastest you know uh, algorithm out there. Okay, which is available. Why? Because it is you know it is not depend on the input size. Okay, so how much size you are passing, it will only execute the operations for one time. Okay, that's why it will take the time very less comparatively the other time complexities. Okay, then what is the second point? Second point is to remain constant, these algorithms should not contain loops, recursion, or calls to any other non-constant time functions. For constant time algorithms, runtime does not increase. Okay, so if you want to maintain the algorithm as a constant time complexity, you need to follow some rules. So what are those rules? The rules is, you cannot write a loop. Loop means you cannot write a for loop, or you cannot write a do or while loop. Okay, so whenever loops comes into the picture, it will straight away comes under a different time complexity, because then it will execute multiple times that particular code. That is why to follow constant time complexity, you need to follow a few rules. Okay, you cannot write any loop inside your code. Okay, and any you cannot call any other functions also, which having a loop inside it. Okay, so those those rules you need to keep in mind. Okay, and the third point is that no matter which operating system or which machine configurations you are using, it will take a constant time to execute. Okay, so again I'm repeating this point is, no matter which operating system or which machine configurations you are using, it will take a constant time to execute. So it is it is that constant time complexity is a independent, independent when it comes under operating system. So if it is executing in Windows operating system, that time also it will be constant time complexity only. If it will execute in any Linux operating system, that time also it will be operating system only. Okay, sorry, operating system means this constant time complexity only. Okay, so here I'm having a diagram. So in this diagram you can clearly see, like, I'm if you have a knowledge on graph, then you can easily relate to this particular diagram. If this axis is a is a y-axis and this axis is a x-axis. Okay, so this axis I have given input data size, and this axis I have given number of operations. So so by this graph you can see that it will take a constant time. Okay, this notation itself, it is giving like big O notation, then first bracket, then 1 means it will execute the particular operation for only one time. Okay, so this is the graph for a better understanding. And apart from that, I'm having a Visual Studio, okay, to give you a brief knowledge in a point of view of practical. Okay, so here what I have done is, for example, so I have written this hello world. If you can see my screen, so you can see I have written a line of code which will print the hello world string. Okay, so this particular line of code, it is followed the constant time complexity. Why? Because it will execute for only one time. Okay, so whenever I will run, so it will straight away it will print that string called hello world. So it is only executing one time, so we can say that okay, it is comes under that constant time complexity. Okay, and yeah, apart from that, if I commented out this line, and if I commented if I uncomment this line of code, so it is a function I have created. The function name is find the number. Now what the function is doing is, the function is doing that it is finding the number is odd or even. Okay, so the function, what it is doing is, it is taking a number from user. Okay, and it is giving an output that whether that particular number is a odd number or a even number. Okay, so let's see how it is work. So if we start this one, it will ask for that enter a number. So suppose I'll enter 22. Okay, I'll give enter, so it will give that this number is a even number. Okay, fine. And if I again rerun this number, this particular program, if I suppose give 21 and hit enter, so it will give us this number is a odd number. So our program is running very much correctly. Okay, so why I have written this function is because this function is also following that constant time complexity. Now how this function is following that constant time complexity? Because it will execute each and every line of code for only one time. Okay, if you see, first of all it will execute this line of code for one time, that enter a number, then user is entering a number. Okay, and then it will execute either this condition or this condition for only one time. So everything inside this particular function is following that constant time complexity. Okay. Okay, so that's it. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you understood this topic, that what is constant time complexity. And in later session we will discuss about other time complexities also. So till then, thank you very much, and please subscribe my channel, like this video and share this video. Thank you very much.